and we meet them in their boat, fleeing for their lives. Back in 1990, 90 something, 92 maybe, I had the opportunity to go to Indonesia and spent some time in Jakarta speaking in churches, and then I met a missionary that was doing Bible training for people on the one side of, we've often heard of Papua New Guinea, and it's part of the chain of islands in Indonesia. There's another side called Irian Jaya. It's called the most primitive place on earth. It's known for tribes, nomadic tribes, unknown languages, and they're known to be really one of the only places on the planet that still practice cannibalism. Mm-hmm. And there's stories about them. They pride themselves on being masters of treachery. And what that means is they would make friends with the enemy and lure them in and then cannibalize them. So others have gone into this area to learn their language because until they live with them and learn their language, they're not going to be able to translate the Bible. With this particular tribe, there was a guy named Don Richardson who wrote the book Peace Child, and he tells in the book about when they got to the place of learning about Judas, they wanted to worship Judas because he was the master of treachery. He would be the friend and then betray. So this is the background of all of this. So I'm excited because I have the chance to go up there with the missionary in a prow, it's called. It's a dugout log with a balancing beam on the outside. And so I was with a missionary from Japan and a Japanese pastor and myself, and then this guy that was running the school. And so he wanted to go up and check on a couple that had graduated from the school and were now living with that nomadic tribe and learning their language. They've been up there for a number of months. So we brought them supplies, beans and rice and Bic shavers and whatever they would need. And so it's about an hour and a half up the Wapoga River on this thing, and it's extremely hot, humid, the whole deal. We finally are nearing where he thinks they are, and we meet them in their boat, fleeing for their lives, because the tribe had turned against them and had attacked them, burned their hut down and attacked them, and they had a little child. So they're fleeing. So we hook boats up and find out what's going on, and they said, we're fleeing for our lives. We're going back to the main base camp, hour and a half down. And we had a decision to make, whether to go up there and find out what was going on or flee with them. Well, the Japanese missionary, he wanted to turn around. Japanese pastor said, let's go check it out. The Bible college guy, he wanted to go see what was going on, and he had some language and stuff. And I said, I've never met cannibals before. But I was really immature then. So we continued the journey up, maybe a half hour or so, pull up on the shore where the village was, and we go up there, and the women are kind of creeping around looking at us. We're trying to, communicate in some way that we're there peacefully and that sort of thing. And after a few minutes, and our main guy was doing a good job of, obviously not in the local language, but with an Indonesian language, and communicating at least through actions and stuff that couple met, that they attacked meant no harm and wanted to make peace. So soon the men come out because they had fled into the jungle when they heard us coming on the boat. And so they're slowly coming out, and I'm like, and I know we have pictures of this, they're in loincloths, they're holding their bows and arrows and spears and stuff, and I'm thinking, whoa, this is fun. And so I started, they gathered around us, and I started kind of motioning toward giving them something. And I had some big red chewing gum in my pocket, and so I pull that gum out, and I tear a piece off and I chew it like that. And then I handed it to 3 different guys here. And they're like, you know, because it's spicy, you know, it's cinnamony, you know, and I know they'd never, you know, tasted that before. And then when we started to laugh together, then I pulled my camera out slowly and started videotaping. And I taped my buddy first, and then I videotaped the other guys. And then it had a playback, you know, little screen. So I turn it around and show this guy, my first guy here that I'm dealing with, and he doesn't say a thing. And I'm thinking, oh boy, you know, they thought the camera stole her spirit or whatever. And he's looking in there, and then he doesn't make any sound at all. And then when it gets to his friends, he starts, you know, and just making noise, you know, their language, toward the other guys, that he recognized them. And he hadn't recognized himself. Because, you know, they don't sit there in the hut looking at the mirror, you know. Outside of the reflection of the water, they would not know it was them. So then laughter started. I see them with those arrows, and I'm thinking, if I could just get some of those arrows. So start offering things to them. I'm the outgoing guy that's just going to take a risk here. So I show them some beans and rice, and you know, you don't need to talk to get this. Pretty soon they start handing me their arrows and their bow, and I'm handing beans and rice and stuff. And the Bible college guy says, I think we've made it clear that we're peaceful, and that the couple, and they said they're welcome back. They won't hurt them. So mission accomplished. And I'm thinking, let's get out of here, because we've made friends. So we start back down the embankment, and we're in the boat, and guys start running down the bank. Guys that had been left out, that were still in the jungle, come running down, and I thought, they're going to take stuff back. You know, they're going to, and the Japanese missionary thought, we're dead. You know, we're dead. This is it. And it turns out, it was translated that these guys that were running after us were saying, we didn't get to trade anything. So I had the only thing we had left was a bag of yellow Bic disposable shavers. And these guys have rugged beards, and they have big earlobes down, they have nose rings, the whole deal. And I start handing them these Bic shavers, and they start handing the stuff to us. We got to trade more stuff. And finally, you know, and I said, what if National Geographic comes through here in a you know, couple months or whatever, and finds all these guys with cuts on their face from shaving or whatever, because I'm like showing them how to do it. Anyway, they let go of us. We got out on the river, and it's interesting. I don't think any of us spoke a single word for the next hour and a half downriver, or whatever it was, hour or whatever downriver, because we kept thinking, they're around the bend. They're around the bend, and they're going to grab us, and you know, all of that. So anyway, it was interesting that when we got back to the main camp there, and when I talk main camp, it was corrugated steel with mosquito nets, and talked to the couple, and they said, we'll go back in the morning. And that really challenged me about being able to lay your life on the line for your faith. And we weren't the heroes in the story, but they were. And that they were willing to take their little child and go back up there and live with them. And they promised to do it the next day. And I believe, I don't remember if I saw them off or if we heard they went off or whatever, but that was quite an experience. So when I got back to Jakarta, I packed all these arrows in this bow and a spear in styrofoam and a roll, and ended up getting it back home, and I have it to this day. So I survived the cannibals.